Last month I described what was happening with a waning astrological configuration dating back to the early 1970s, the oligarchic alignment. It is breaking up in a series of very gradual planetary shifts. As it breaks up, the globe's oligarchies are ever so gradually breaking up. This gradual breakup is accompanied by critical levels of social, cultural, economic and political strain. These shifts have brought improvement in energetic conditions, but this improvement has been agonizingly gradual and slow when measured against the need. Many are still experiencing, or only slowly recovering from, critical, life-changing events in family, relationship, health and work areas. Or they are still experiencing interminable delays in their quest for relief. Outer turmoil is accompanied by high levels of inner, psycho-spiritual turmoil. The combination of inner and outer difficulties is proving wearisome. Newly discovered celestial bodies and the oligarchic alignment. During the life of the oligarchic alignment, astronomers discovered a series of previously unknown large asteroids, or small planets. Each newly discovered asteroid represents a new set of archetypal principles that affect our collective aspirations on an all but instinctive level. They complicate the task of recovery and reform. They become principles that we must now factor into all our choices and build into custom and tradition. They manifest as additional reasons for political disquiet and motives for societal reform. The following list is not exhaustive. Chiron, 1977, Phallus, 1992, Nessus, 1993, Chariklo, 1997, Varuna, 2000, Ixion, 2001, Qua-or, 2002, Sedna, 2003, Orcus, 2004, Eris, 2005. All of these bodies are new to astronomy and to astrology. With the exception of Chiron, perhaps, and certain other newly discovered bodies, there is not a lot that can be said about them with either clarity or certainty. Their official discovery, however, justifies the assumption that new archetypal issues are emerging in collective awareness, or old ones are coming to the fore and gaining in importance. Their emerging influence would help account for the sheer number and density of the challenges we are encountering during this transition. The discovery of Planet 9 was also announced earlier this year. We cannot yet say much about it, either the new asteroids or the new planet, or two. Indeed, it has not yet even been physically observed. Published reports of its discovery included mention of yet another planet whose existence is as less well established. I think we can safely assume that Planet 9 and its even more elusive sibling, like the newly discovered asteroids, are probably already serving as change factors at certain levels in collective consciousness. We need to assume that they are also adding to the complexity of our current experience. The asteroids at work. The asteroids do not appear to be neutral, idle observers, floating picturesquely in the background of today's astrological events, lending atmosphere. Consider the following examples. Chariklo. Chariklo is associated with respect for subtle but crucial personal boundary issues. Chariklo's energies will translate into human and civil rights issues. Chariklo would contribute heavily to the complexity and intensity of identity politics. Chariklo recently left Sagittarius, where it would have been caught up in the mutable T-square. It is now in Capricorn with Pluto, where I believe it is seriously intensifying identity and personal boundary issues. In recent decades, Chariklo would have been associated with the emergence of political correctness, the growth of identity politics, the emergence of the safe spaces movement, and the growing awareness of microaggressions. Ixion. Ixion governs the abuse of political power and the violation of trust in high places. This would include extreme abuses of power and trust. It is in Sagittarius, too, where it is caught up in the action of the mutable T-square, whose function is to seek and reveal the truth. Accordingly, the use and abuse of personal power and the violation of public trust has been a central issue in the U.S. presidential election campaign. In fact, if you explore the mythology of Ixion, you will see that current headlines reflect its influence rather clearly. Ixion can be involved in the crassest kind of financial and sexual abuse and in the very highest of places. It is also in Sagittarius, caught up in the powerful and highly influential mutable T-square. Accordingly, the use and abuse of political power and the violation of public trust have roiled the U.S. presidential election campaign. Ixion would, for example, be at issue in the kinds of accusations leveled at Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Or put another way, with Ixion in the mix, it is not surprising to hear such accusations being made. They are typical Ixion issues. Phyllis. In the version of the Phyllis myth with which I am familiar, Phyllis violated the rules governing the use of communal resources. Phyllis' misuse of community resources enabled Hercules to violate the terms of his spiritual quest. Bad Phyllis aspects are associated with cronyism, corruption and venality generally. These Phyllis themes reflect the kind of accusations or criticisms frequently leveled at Hillary Clinton. Phyllis is currently in Sagittarius with Ixion, participating in the mutable T-square. Qua-o-or appears to govern the evolution of worldviews and value systems, the process by which the worldviews and value system of 1950 became those of 2016. Qua-o-or is also, in Sagittarius, caught up in the mutable T-square. And, indeed, the issue of updating, upgrading, transforming and refining worldviews have also been foregrounded in the presidential election campaign. Disclaimer: the examples presented above are intended strictly to illustrate astrological issues. They are not intended to spark political discussion. Nor are they in any way exhaustive. In sum, these newly discovered asteroids are demanding that we weave a whole new range of values into the fabric of our shared reality, retroactively. Existing worldviews and value systems must be modified to accommodate these new principles. We need to factor a whole new range of thorny moral and ethical issues into our thinking during an already complex and challenging transition. Improvement has only been partial and incremental. The paths we follow seem to be of indefinite length. There seems little or no promise of resolution, or only a distant one. November 2016, Dovetailing. Mars will enter Aquarius on November 9th. I believe November generally, and the Mars Aquarius ingress in particular, will get us beyond slow, partial and incremental resolution. True to form, Mars will certainly act as a stimulant and/or an irritant in Aquarius. It is very likely to spark protests and spirited, even zealous reform efforts. Indeed, Mars in Aquarius might very well put the scent of revolution in the air. But Aquarius energy does not make disruptive or violent reform inevitable. It is essentially about idealization, harmonization and optimization. Mars will activate this more moderate potential in Aquarius, too. In fact, I believe this aspect of Mars in Aquarius will be predominant. Mars in Aquarius will form many positive, facilitating aspects. In fact, it will turn astrological trouble spots into supportive, facilitating aspects. Viewed in combination, the many aspects that Mars forms while in Aquarius will create a cauldron or crucible formation. Typically, crucible formations encompass fully half of the chart, spreading over 6 houses or more. A cauldron is highly transformative, encompassing inextricably all of the bodies caught up in it, catching them up in a powerful transformative process. The aspects formed by Mars in Aquarius will render this crucible formation highly progressive. This cauldron will blend all of the energies in the zodiac into a predominantly positive, progressive mix, suffused with Aquarian archetypal energies. It will change conflicts and crossed purposes into positive synchronicity. This will accelerate the transition away from oligarchic values and support those seeking solutions during this transition. And the solutions people find will be progressive, solidly Aquarian solutions. The aspects Mars will make are as follows. Mars in Aquarius will be in trine relationship with Jupiter in Libra and form a semisextile relationship with Pluto. This will help to resolve any tensions between Jupiter, and Pluto in Aries. Mars will form a semi-sextile with Neptune, Chiron and Nessus in Pisces. Finally, Mars in Aquarius will be in sextile relationship with Saturn and the other bodies in Sagittarius. This will take the edge off the mutable T-square. Mars in Aquarius will also be in sextile with Uranus in Aries. I have looked at the dispositor charts for relevant dates in November and they are all about mutual interception which, as you know, softens, moderates and modulates conflicting or clashing aspects. In Aquarius, Mars will also enliven the archetypal Aquarian forces that bring synergy, cooperation, coordination and synchrony. Hence, as Mars enters Aquarius on November 9th, UT, on an individual level, it will powerfully stimulate and just as powerfully support our desire to achieve reintegration and healing of our lifestyles. Collectively it will do the same. With so much positive synchronicity, it will also bring disparate efforts together. People whose work or whose needs and resources complement each other will find each other at crucial moments. By mid-November, our seemingly disparate efforts will begin to dovetail. Things will begin to come together for all of us. Jupiter will square Pluto on November 24th, don't worry about it. Also, as a result of the many positive relationships that Mars establishes in Aquarius, the Mars-Jupiter square on November 24th will be barely a blip on the economic radar. Its force, however conflicted, will quickly be absorbed by the essentially constructive processes that are slowly overtaking our lives with Mars in Aquarius. Sun trine Neptune. On November 1st, the Sun will trine Neptune. This will inspire hope and idealism. It will also soften boundaries, smooth rough edges and, thus, facilitate the dovetailing of our efforts promised by Mars in Aquarius. Neptune trines are famous for unforeseen and fortuitous events. Mars in Aquarius will bring our individual and collective efforts into productive, progressive alignment with the efforts of others, synergistically, synchronistically. In November, our lives will begin coming together a little faster than before.